But today we have Melanie Oberlin from the Moritz Law Library and Rick Livingston from the Institute for Collaborative Research and Public Humanities. And they're going to do a selection of readings in celebration of Earth Day, which is today. So welcome.
Great, thank you. So we talked a little bit about how to divide this up, and I'm going to start off by reading a couple of short pieces, and then Melanie has a longer piece, and then I might pick it up at the end, depending on how we're feeling. So I know you've created a wide circle around us. So, in those famous words of Samuel Taylor Coleridge, right? Weave a circle round them thrice, for you of honeydew hath fed and drunk the milk of paradise. Right? So don't come too close. Right? Stay away. So I'm going to start us off with reading a poem by David Hart. And this poem is called Naming the Field. I believe he's an English poet. So, Naming the Field. We here call this grass. You can pick it like this. It is the earth's hair. Feel hair on your head. Pick a strand of grass, one of the earth's hairs. You can whistle through it like this. You can chew it and spread out. It is a kind of carpet. This is what we call rock, sticking through the carpet. The rock is not a strand, but it is hard, like my head, you see, if I tap it, but harder than head. This, flowing through the field, we call stream. Field is carpet between hedges, and stream divides it. Is this place the end of your pilgrimage, or are you passing only? Have you become astray here? Hedge is what we call this flowing upwards of shrubs and bushes, of runners and nests, of parasitic blooms. The field, in its flowing to us through time, is named St. Alphagus, who was beaten to death with ox bones. These, under the skin, we call bones. You see, I am thin. My bones stick through almost like rocks. This, all around us, invisible, we call air. See, when I breathe, my lungs fill with air. I have had my place here. I wash my bones under my skin in the stream so as to be clean when the earth claims me back. This splash splash we call marsh. These reeds in the marsh are the long, thin gravestones of those who went straight down, thrilling to the call of the steep deep, their bodies long, thin needles. This won't hurt. This won't hurt a bit. I cannot explain home. It is not room, nor is it contained within stone walls. The stream is at home in field. Rocks are. Air is. Grass is. Honeysuckle is. Smell it. And I am. That's naming the field. And this is a poem by great Polish poet Czesław Miłosz called Advice. Yes, it is true that the landscape changed a little. Where there were forests, now there are pairs of factories. Cisterns approach the mouth of the river. We hold our noses. Its current carries oil and chlorine and methyl compounds, not to mention the byproducts of the books of abstraction, excrement, urine, and dead sperm. A huge stain of artificial color poisons fish in the sea. Where the shore of the bay was overgrown with rushes, Now it is rusted with smashed machines, ashes, and bricks. We used to read in old poets about the scent of earth and grasshoppers. Now we bypass the fields, ride as fast as you can through the chemical zone of the farmers. The insect and the bird are extinguished. Far away, a bored man drags dust with his tractor, an umbrella against the sun. What do we regret, I ask? A tiger? A shark? We created a second nature in the image of the first so as not to believe that we live in paradise. It is possible that when Adam woke in the garden, the beasts licked the air and yawned, friendly, while their fangs and their tails lashing their backs were figurative, and the red-backed shrike, later, much later named Lanius colurio, did not impale caterpillars on the spikes of the blackthorn. However, other than that moment, what we know of nature does not speak in its favor. Ours is no worse. So, I beg you, no more of those lamentations. And this is a third poem by James Galvin. It isn't such a bad thing to live in one world forever. You could do a lot worse. The sexual smell of fresh-cut alfalfa could well be missing somewhere. Somewhere you give in to some impetuous unknown and then stand guilty as accused of self-love. It's better not to take such risks. It's not as if we had no angels. A handful remained when the rest moved on. Now they work for a living, as windmills in the open range. They spin and stare like catatonics, nod toward the bedridden peaks. They've learned their own angelic disbelief. The mountains still breathe, I suppose, though barely. The prairie still swells under a few small churches. They are like rowboats after the ship's gone down. Everyone knows whom the saved envy. Runoff mirrors the sky in alpine pastures. Imagine how quickly one's tracks unbloom there. This world isn't such a bad world. At least the angels are gainfully employed. They know where the water is, what to do with wind. I try not to think of those others, like so many brides, so many owls made of pollen, wintering in a stand of imaginary timber.